We're back and live. This is another episode of Address This Mess. Been a long break. Super excited to be back in here. Got Mike Stang here to the right.
What's up, guys?
Or your left if you're looking through the camera.
I hope you're looking through the camera.
Yeah, that's the way people usually do it.
So look good today,
oh, dude, we didn't start the broadcast. That's okay, fuck it. Now we're live. It's been a while. Been out of the studio. Forget how to do this. We're live and on the air. We got Mike Stang here with me.
In his bare feet. I got bare feet, guys. If you're listening,
my
feet are bare.
Yeah, so if you're trying to figure out which one is Alex Mackenzie and which one's Mike Stang, Mike is the guy with bare feet. Alex Mackenzie is the guy whose feet you cannot see. As far as you know, I do not have legs, just like Lieutenant Dan.
But you ain't got no legs, Lieutenant Dan.
Our sponsors, we're going to run through these quick. Amazon. If you're looking to buy anything on the internet, go through Amazon. If you go to our website, addressthismess.com, you can find a link there, click on it, buy some shit. We get a little bit of money from that, and we kick that back into the podcast here to keep bringing back good shit for you.
It works the same for audible.com. If you go to our website, you go to audible.com, get some audiobooks. You can listen to stuff instead of read it because you're a busy person. And if you're too busy to shave, that's weird. Loosen up your schedule. But if you need razors, go to Dollar Shave Club. Go through the website, addressthismess.com, Dollar Shave Club, sending razors right to your door.
And our favorite sponsor, as always, is Onnit. We really enjoy using Onnit. I like all Onnit products. I'm a big believer in Alpha Brain. Seems to work for me. I use it before every comedy show. Helps out. And go to Onnit, click our link, and you'll actually save yourself 10% just by clicking our link now. We got a coupon code from Onnit. And you might even be able to save an additional 10% if you use the code name Rogan after clicking our link. So a potential of 20% off all Onnit products if you go through our website and go through the link. And that is the end of that. So I was going to start off the show. I was going to talk about, I watched a thing on Vice did a documentary on the Highway of Tears up here.
Yes.
Did you see it?
I've seen it.
Yeah. You watched the little documentary I did? It was like a 16-minute video.
I haven't seen that long of it.
No. But they have, here, I'll pull up some of the things. You just get into the comments of these. Like you were asking me earlier if it pisses me off if someone shoots an elephant. And
which it should, you selfless son of a bitch.
Hey, I never said it. Well,
well, take a stance, sir. Do you love elephants or do you hate elephants? You can't just be medium on elephants.
Why not? You're fucking down the middle on everything.
I love elephants, all right? So I've loved elephants since I was a kid.
So it pisses you off when someone kills them?
Babar. No, there's a lot of money involved. I mean,
yeah, I understand why he's doing it.
Elephants have a monetary value assigned to them somehow.
Fuck, where is it here? I gotta find it.
It's kind of weird that it helps all the humans around. Because that guy pays so much money to go shoot the elephant. That he just helps out all the villages around. Because it's like $35,000 they otherwise weren't going to see. Yeah. And that goes a long way. When you're eating bugs out of a stump.
Yeah.
$35,000. You don't even know what to do with it. I'd probably start a fire with it. What is this, paper? Straight cash, homie. What am I supposed to do with this?
But yeah, like I don't, obviously I don't promote elephant killing and I don't like it when people kill elephants, but I don't
better not.
I don't get involved in those debates that they have. People get really into the...
well, it depends on if it's a conversation or an argument.
No, well, people just, like the comments in it, people just start losing their mind and shit. Like, it's like if you watch a YouTube video and you get to the bottom of it, it's just a bunch of bullshit of people. Like, it has nothing to do with the video at that point.
Fantastic racist comments. And
you've just got a bunch of people arguing about nothing.
Who have never met, by the way.
And you look at, like...
assuming character flaws.
And trolling on here. Like, there's some guys on here that really just get people
going.
Dude,
I trolled one time, and it was, like, the funnest thing I've ever done.
Just trolling people? What were you trolling?
I trolled some stupid video where a guy hits a hole-in-one with a baseball bat.
Oh, and it was totally fake?
On a par 3. And you could tell it's fake, but they did their best to make it look real.
Yeah, so you were just...
So I just posted, this is 100% real. I've done this before. Like... And people were not, they're like, you're an idiot. You're a fucking idiot. This is so, like, and then they started pointing out the parts where it looks fake. Like, look, go to 106 versus 108. Look where the ball is.
Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, it's weird because you never want it. It's such a dirty universe to exist in. And some people wake up every morning and they live in that. They sign on and they go to all these forums, all these websites, leave comments. It seems so futile. Like I even responded to a hockey beat writer on Twitter the other day, and I was like, "This is a waste of time." Like we're having a conversation back and forth on our timelines.
Yeah.
Because he wrote some article about asking players to stop looking dumbfounded when someone breaks their stick. You know how they look around at the ref and then they're holding half their stick and they're gonna. And I just posted.
Oh, like when someone else breaks their stick, like if they slash them.
Yeah, and they're like, "What the fuck? Call it." And it was like I said, don't you think if they didn't hesitate whatsoever, and if somebody just dropped your stick and you just dropped it immediately, kept playing like all in one motion, and all of a sudden the stick's just laying broken on the ground, and maybe it's behind the net, couldn't you miss a call that way? And he's like, I don't think that call's ever been missed. And I was like, well, yeah, because it's always been sold.
Right.
And then he wouldn't respond, and I was like, yeah, you're right. You shouldn't respond to me. Stop responding to me.
Yeah.
You should absolutely write me off as some fucking loser on the internet that you don't want to correspond with at all. Even though I was trying to have an amicable like conversation.
Yeah.
I was like, you're not wrong about the astonishment. They looked dumb, like, oh, where'd the rest of my stick go?
Yeah.
But you kind of have to like pay attention to the argument and go, what the fuck, Stripes? Like, just turn your head even to look for the call kind of thing.
So, yeah. So it does get put
I just think you could miss a call if you did zero and nothing. And it was just in the heat of the play. You're both going to the puck behind the net. You both slash sticks. Yours breaks. You do nothing and just like stay in the battle.
Yeah.
They might not notice that your stick's even broken.
Totally.
But, yeah. Twitter is fucking not super conducive to a good conversation.
We gotta hire...
It's just posts, right?
What the fuck's going on here?
They caught that, I didn't catch him, but they fucking had another run at that El Chapo character.
The Mexican?
Yeah.
The drug cartel guy?
No, the Jewish guy in New York.
Same guy. I get those two mixed up every time.
Apparently they took he's injured or something like the last time he escaped.
Yeah.
They had a beat on him and he fucking got injured in the escape.
It's
crazy though.
Elusive. I like how he
straight up like gangster. Like gangsters like they kind of been portrayed to our generation as like guys with sideways hats and shit.
Yeah.
But like real gangsters, like guys that run shit, gangster style.
Yeah.
They exist, man. This guy's one of them for sure.
Well, have you seen Narcos?
You know who's the biggest gangster in the whole world? Vladimir Putin.
Yeah,
that guy is gangster.
Yeah, he
see what he did just recently?
When he bombed the fucking...
No, he fucking took that guy's money and excommunicated him. The guy that was like his right-hand man. He took like $54 billion from him.
Yeah.
And excommunicated the guy. And
what
then
does that mean?
Like they sent him out of the country. Like, don't come back. And he's just on this little island. Like, he's probably lucky he's not dead. He's probably all right with it somehow. Like, whatever way that works. Because Putin, technically, is still, like, the head of the KGB. He just happens to run Russia. Like, he still acts that way. Like, I'm not saying that he is.
Right.
That's just the way that system works over there. And I think they all know it. So whatever that guy did to have that happen to him. Because apparently they just busted up Russia, like, a while ago. And gave it to, like, 7 or 8 different guys. Like, all of it. So they're all just, like, giant billionaires. And it's broken up between a few families, like everything Russia owns. But there's this weird hierarchy where he'll just take your shit. And people were talking about it afterwards, how he might be the richest man in the world.
Vladimir Putin?
Yeah, in terms of the way he can manipulate wealth and like.
Well, does it work that he can never be voted out? Like, is he there as long as he wants to be?
He's like a czar, but he is voted in.
Well, what's the difference between a czar and a dictator?
Nothing, really. It was just Russians. It's a Russian word for dictator.
Right.
Yeah.
But he is like.
I think maybe there's some fundamental like.
But now that he got voted in, like, so does he have an election? Like, when's the next election?
Well, the thing is, you remember that guy that was running against him? Yeah, he got shot dead in the street. To which Putin said he was very sad to hear about.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
I think he sent flowers.
Uh-huh.
So, I believe he's running on a post for a third consecutive term.
Yeah, that's like
But he's not a big guy, apparently. He's a really small guy. But he's like 63. Mm-hmm. And like on Twitter, I always see him. He's chilling. He plays hockey with like Bure and like Fedorov back home. They're like, oh, he skated today, and he's like
Really?
wearing gear. And they're like, what? This
I
guy
gotta
just
see a
fucking
picture.
goes and plays hockey with like beret
Yeah.
for his birthday kind of thing. Like they all came out for a pickup game. And then I saw a picture of him driving himself around. Like no leader of any nation drives himself around unless it's like fucking Ecuador.
Yeah.
Like he's driving like the big black SUV. He's just got his
Putin?
arm out the window.
Is that him?
Oh yeah, man. Look at him. He looks like a rec league player, right? But look at the guys that he's on the bench with. Like they're all fucking either worth $6 billion and can have your throat cut in an instant, or they played pro hockey.
Vladimir Putin dominates like hockey.
Well,
game
yeah,
in
who's
Sochi.
stepping into him?
You can imagine
Putin, you look at that guy behind him in that last picture.
the guy with the fucking mustache.
Yeah. That guy's classic rec hockey player / in that country. He's got $9 billion.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
And he fucks underage girls.
If you guys are wondering, we just typed in. I typed in Putin.
Look at his
playing
gloves. Just say
hockey.
Russia. Don't say warrior. No. Can I get some Russia gloves? I'm kind of a big Russia guy. Who's that kid behind him?
Type in Putin playing hockey and
With
you just
kids.
scroll through.
Like that has to be photoshopped somehow, right? Who's that kid? What's he destined for?
He's not wearing the same number. Dude, you know what's creepy?
Sick
If you
red
read
tape?
the number on the kid's back and the number on Putin's jersey,
9/11.
you get 9/11. Conspiracy? I mean, coincidence? I think not.
Well,
You
yeah.
got something going on here.
Yeah. Like, hey, you got your gear there, Putin? What the fuck?
Due to recent letdowns, Vladimir Putin will not play for Russia in Sochi.
It's crazy. He's like just a guy there. Like he's not.
Who's
But he's like he's putting on this giant facade. Like think about that guy in that picture down on the left there with those kids.
Is this beret here?
Yeah. And
That
then
is, eh?
think about what that guy actually goes home and does at night versus the show he's putting on during the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's always got his fucking shirt off too.
Mm-hmm. He likes to not wear
At
that
63, like he's not a specimen, but he's no joke. He's fucking 63.
thing. Is Putin better than
And then he
ex-NHL
just-
players, or is it fixed? What do you think?
And then he just puts on a fucking Windsor knot, goes to the UN and tells him he's just gonna take some stuff. I'm gonna take Crimea.
Well, I like it. Who did he just bomb? I was a fan of that.
They're bombing the shit out of ISIS, I think.
Yeah, I was
I
a
think
fan
Putin's
of
not.
that.
Yeah, they're
But
not.
I gotta
fucking
look into
around.
that more because apparently it's who they're bombing, like the opposition that the U.S. is backing or something. I don't. It's like a three-way struggle. There's like a guy who's in power there, and then I really shouldn't be talking about because I have no idea.
In the Middle East.
But there's a guy who's in power.
Well, there's Israelis that.
Where did they bomb? Was it Syria?
Most likely.
Yeah, I think it was Syria. They
I
bombed.
think that's where ISIS kind of operates out of, but it's all Holy Land, and they all think it's theirs. It's like, well, two of you are wrong, for sure, but I think all three are probably wrong. Like, it's not yours. It's God's water. Nobody owns the water.
Nobody owns the water. It's God's water.
Not that there's any fucking water over there.
But yeah, back to it.
It's so weird that they have those advanced cities there, though. Like
Like
right in
that.
the middle of the desert because they have all that oil money
Mm-hmm.
with nothing to do with it. Like you have 10 billion, you have 100 billion. It's all the same.
Yeah.
Like, what are we going to do with all that? And they just build these unreal structures. Like, it's basically, they can get the most out of human potential because, like, when a necessity, like when a vacuum opens up like that, just say it's a bunch of money. Like, we'll give you any amount of money to do this. Just do it. Just make it happen. Build us the tallest building. Well, we can't build it here because it's going to fall over because the wind's from the desert. We'll just build it. Find a way.
Yeah.
And then they build this crazy building that fucking cuts through the wind and fucking bends but doesn't break. And, like,
Yeah.
like, all right, what else are we gonna do? One of those fuckers
You oughta be
printed his name in the sand, like you can see it from space.
Really?
Yeah, he printed his name across just this giant piece of desert. It was like I think it was like 4 letters or 5 letters, and it was just like this giant like kid on a
I'm
sandhill
assuming
kind
this
of
is
thing.
in Dubai.
Yeah,
Hamad?
Hamad, there's the guy.
Holy fuck, Hamad. He's doing it.
And he's like, yeah, can we just throw my name out there? And then they have those unreal islands they built. Those are kind of fucking.
With a Palm Island?
Yeah, like that might be one of the craziest creations. Like if they
Apparently
if they find our civilization later on
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, what were they capable of? They'll say these motherfuckers were on some different level.
Yeah.
They're like, man, they built this paradise in the middle of nowhere. Like,
Yeah.
how'd they do it? Well, slaves and shit.
Yeah.
Money. Threw a lot of human suffering at it.
How much buckets of sand did they have to haul to make that possible?
That is actually how it happened. You see that wall they built on the outside of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they built that afterwards. Because they're like, yeah, we fucked up. They started building half of it, and they're like, these waves that are coming in, they're going to erode this thing. Like, it's fundamentally the structure's going to
Yeah, no, I know they took sand, but
be terrible.
Well,
They were showing it. Yeah, they were just like, they were scooping it out of, like, they were dumping big piles of it in the water.
You can't start telling a joke, and then when I go along with your joke, shit on me.
What?
You said how they'll think they got built by slaves, right?
Yeah.
So I'm saying take how many buckets of sand? You know, they think it took a bunch of slaves with buckets of sand to dump.
Oh, that's...
They'd have to form like a chain gang of like, you know, because like we look at, it's no different than how we look at, what's that fucking thing? I gotta quit swearing. It makes you sound really unintelligent. I'm not that bright to begin with. Then you start throwing F-bombs around. People are on you pretty quick. You know, the little tower things. What are they?
Tower things, pyramids?
No. The pyramids
Talking
too.
about Stonehenge?
Stonehenge. There we go. Thank God you're here. Show would have been at an idle for 30 minutes while I tried to defragment my brain to get the
Stacked
information.
rocks.
Yeah, but they look at it and they're like, do you know how many people they would have had to use to get this to go, and they just can't figure it out? Same with pyramids. But really, there's that theory where it's like maybe some crazy shit went down and civilization got wiped out. You know, like maybe they were really advanced and they had cranes and all that shit to build it. That's like this, right? Like they'll look at this and be like, oh man, like they have nothing. Like they would have took like a chain gang of guys passing buckets down there, just dumping sand.
Well, they didn't seem to have written language. They must have had a good enough spoken language, like say just the Egyptians.
Yeah.
Because they knew a bunch of stuff and they were able to teach next generations that stuff, but they couldn't write it down very well at all.
Yeah.
Like they couldn't leave us a good enough breadcrumb trail. Maybe they did and we just haven't found it. Maybe that's like National Treasure 3 or something.
But I always wonder though, do you think that you could, without having someone who knew a language, like do you think it's possible to convey that to someone? Like that's what I always wonder. Like
the slaves wouldn't know a language. They'd know like 5 grunt words kind of thing.
No. Like so how are we gonna figure out what they wrote on the wall, what that meant, without having someone who knows that language to do it? Like you could write Spanish down right now, and me and you don't know Spanish. I could probably spend, without the internet, I could spend my whole life looking at Spanish writing, and I don't think I would ever be able to decipher it. Like if you gave me a novel in Spanish, I could spend my whole life trying to figure that thing out. Just me, without like, you know, trying to be like, okay, maybe that one's an A. Like, I don't
they
think
were
you'd
so
ever
crude
figure it
that
without
they
having
used
someone there to teach you how
symbols
to do it.
and drawings, and it was like, you're right. How do you translate any of that? But humans are super good at like cracking codes, right? And I'm not very good at that.
Yeah, but do they really, or do we just decipher it for what we think it means, and then you're like, oh, like we'll take it for what we figure? It's like they say orcas, they think are maybe the only other species that has another language, like that they can communicate.
Yeah.
But
have you ever done one of those cryptic quotes?
Yeah. But that's using your letters.
Right.
And it's just...
That's the closest I've ever come to code breaking.
Yeah, me too. And those things are hard to
But then you watch those, like, what was that called? Wind Talkers or whatever with Nick Cage, where they had that, like, secret Navajo language they used during the war. Where there was, like, 8 of them that knew it. So they could talk in code.
Yeah.
And there was some way that even the Germans couldn't crack it or anything like that.
Right.
But yeah, you're right. Do you always need a key? Like, do you always have some sort of answer key that you work off of to decode something like that?
Yeah.
Because they talk about that Zachariah Sitchin guy who translated cuneiform, and it's just a bunch of fucking sticks and like, there's some sort of pattern there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But he always says, like, if you're going to translate this to English, it gets really muddy because like this could mean like 10 things ambiguously, like one way or the other.
Yeah.
And if you take it one way, you might lead you down like the wrong path, like because you went from the wrong starting block.
Keep going.
But there's got to be some way to do it.
If you're wondering, I'm buying a new truck right now while we're podcasting. I got a lot of calls coming in.
Fucking baller. Shot caller.
One sec.
Yeah, these motherfuckers, man. They built some city called... Oh, I wish I could remember it. But it's completely green. It's in the middle of the desert. And they just have all the leading technologies of how to harness energy that's 100% clean. It's crazy. They grow this like special algae there and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's all just controlled environments.
Mike McGuire wants us to promote a show. So there's a show. Shit, can I do that? Is that legal?
No, absolutely not. You tell Mike his dreams can die wherever the fuck he leaves them.
Oh, that's a straight shot across the bow of Mike McGuire, everybody.
Where's Mike playing?
Mike is headlining show tonight. It's at 777 Kinsman Place. It's a Kinsman Fall Leadership Conference, and he's putting on a comedy show to entertain these people. And you're welcome to come out, and it's free. It includes, you got on the bill, we have Caitlin Shuvera. She's a new comic in town. I've yet to see her. Heard she's really funny. She's from out east. And then you got Brian Major. If you don't know Brian, Brian's got a big dick. If you didn't know he had a big dick, I'm sure he'll tell you he has a big dick. Come check that out in his act. And you got me. I'm emceeing the show. So if you guys aren't doing anything tonight, it's at 9 p.m. at the Kinsman Hall.
Promoting yourself on here now? Oof. Jesus Christ, has this thing ever been misguided?
And
Mike,
thought
we were in it to fight the man, bro.
Mike, we're going to need that check whenever we get a chance. Our sponsors pay to be mentioned on here, as should you.
Yeah, Mike, that's a real thing. Cost of doing business.
Now back to the show. So if you look here, look at this. We've got the Palm Island pulled up. One thing they did say that the Palm Island fucked up is the beach line in Dubai. See this here I'm looking at? See that indent?
Mm-hmm.
They said the way the water moves now, it's eroding the beach around Palm Island. And Dubai is known to have the straightest beaches in the world. The beach line, it's flawless. They're just perfectly flat and straight. And it's one of the nicest things about Dubai, I guess. And this Palm Island's fucking it up. It's creating a ripple effect and making their shit go all weird now.
You know what? The thing I was talking to you about, the Palm Island?
Yeah.
I lied to you because that's not why they built that. You see that other thing they fucking built? Where it's the world in islands and you can buy those little islands? But it's the world map.
Oh, okay.
See that? That's where they built that wall.
Oh, they built, the breakwater?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at those motherfuckers. Doing whatever they want. Imagine who owns one of those little islands. I bet you Mark Cuban can't even get one of those little islands.
I don't know. Yeah, should we check out who owned them?
Yeah.
Do they own it?
I want to know. It's probably all hometown boys, right?
Yeah.
Get an island or you're nobody. All the guys that are top 5 in Clash of Clans definitely have islands there.
Who
they
owns
have to,
the
or those are their
World
kids,
Islands
anyways. For fig, the World Islands. That's insane. We should be doing tons more of that stuff. How cool could you make the world if everybody just had that kind of fucking throw it to the wind kind of just... No, we're doing this, and we got the way to do it. But again, you got to convince a bunch of people to die and suffer and do fucking hard work for no reward, right? Besides the end product.
Oh, look they gave one to right here in October 2006. 7-time Formula One world champion Michael Schumacher was presented with one of the islands by Mohammed bin Rashid
That guy's got some money. Or didn't he just die? Or did he just get in a bad accident?
Schumacher?
Yeah.
I think he's fine. Didn't he kill someone?
No, that was Pistorius. Schumacher is...
completely different guy. Both racers, I might add. Different vessels are getting there. Pistorius rides on springs.
He got in a bad skiing accident and fucked his head up. He was in a coma for a long time.
But was it Schumacher who ran that guy over? No, who was that?
Tony Stewart.
Tony Stewart, just fucking...
That's totally different. That's left turning. Racing is fucking F1.
Right. But that was still, that was murder as far as I saw.
Yeah, well...
He just straight up runs the guy over.
I don't know, who's liable if you're standing in the middle of a racetrack? Yeah. But, yeah, he looked like he slowed down. You saw him.
Yeah, well,
come on, you saw him.
But he hit the gas when he fucking hit him, right?
Well,
he wasn't on the brake. He fucking
could have killed both of them if he didn't
stepped into it.
Come straight through that windshield. Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie purchased Ethiopia.
That's
you pretentious cunts.
Did they really?
It got denied by the couple
on the island.
Never mind. Huh?
Okay.
Who else we got? Richard Branson for sure.
Check out the
Which
name.
one did he get though?
Check out the name.
He direct landed to buy a flight by Virgin Islands. Tell me what island he owns. Who owns Canada?
Well, Schumacher. Look at the name of the guy who presented Schumacher with the island. His name is Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum.
That's gonna be your kid's last name. You don't watch that. Fuckers, these guys are coming.
Schumacher's manager Willie Weber suggested perhaps he build a kart racing track on the island.
That'd be sick, hey? Just fucking little transit system between all the islands for rich fucks. That'd get crazy.
How
easy is that to fucking ruin, though? Okay,
But
Dubai. Not that
is
they can't
Canada?
rebuild it.
I don't even see Canada on this thing.
Well, it's like small little islands that.
Oh, that make up.
Yeah, like these
Right.
are continents. Like it would
Right.
be the most top left thing we can get.
Yeah, yeah. That little squiggly there.
Actually, you
Yeah.
see that one on the right there? It's probably that. On the bottom right?
Right
That
here?
arrow right there. Yeah,
Right
that's probably
here.
like where we are.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Who owns it though?
We don't have a lot of insight on that. We've got.
Are they still for sale? Everyone's like, the return on that. Meanwhile, you got all these sheiks that are like, return on what? We just make money every day. I don't need return on my investments. I need to buy things. I need to acquire. Can I buy anything on Mars right now?
Well, look at this private island
That's
online
concrete?
buyer's guide.
No way.
We got a buyer's guide, right?
Oh, let's get a quote on this.
You can rent them.
Can you move on that at all?
Oh, look at this.
Islands over U.S.
Islands under 500,000.
What?
Islands
No.
over 10 million. What can we get for under 500,000? What's going to be in here? Nova Scotia.
Oh, Fiji.
You can get Nova Scotia, Canada for
Ginger Island.
$785,000.
Dude, that's a nice island.
Yeah, dude, I wouldn't mind that one.
That's a shit island. Fuck off.
Fiji.
Fiji, South Pacific. Dude,
Or
why does that
Ontario.
say 2,600? Oh, 2.6 mil.
2.6 mil.
I was like,
Ooh, look, that one
what
comes
are we
with a
shopping
house.
for here?
Um,
There's got to be way more people going to those then.
Dude, look
Or
at this
do you
one.
think they rent them out
You
somewhere?
can buy Big Tuscan Island parcel, which is Nova Scotia, Canada, $65,000. I can afford this.
This is crazy.
I could go get a loan right now and own an island in Dubai.
37 acres, 15 hectares, freehold.
Maine and United States. Look at this.
What?
Nova Scotia is 29. That can't be right, is it? 54 acres. The island is 2 hours and 15-minute drive from Halifax, Stanfield. No. These aren't.
These are islands.
These are just islands.
These are islands.
These aren't the
Suck
world
it. Nice
islands.
islands, though.
Yeah, I mean. it'd
Private islands online. How's business?
Yeah, you can buy
A lot
legit
of people
islands.
looking for islands.
Okay, so you can
I'm
buy.
in the market for an island now. Let me know.
Yeah, man. Look, you can actually buy 37 acres in Nova Scotia.
Think the bank gives you money for that? You give me money for a house on an island? It's an
Oh.
island.
Dude, here's one right in BC, our back door.
3 acres.
$82,000.
3 acres isn't much.
Let's check. It's called Sweet Island, though.
So no matter what happens, it's still a sweet island.
Dude, that thing's sweet.
Yeah, I had an island, but it was a sweet island, bro.
Real sweet island we got there.
That's baller.
Oh, dude, it's
You gotta get
It's
an
right.
island.
oh, dude, it's
People must buy them like novelties then if you have a lot of money and they only cost this much.
dude, it's on Stewart Lake. That's
Have a couple
That's not
islands.
far from here at all. People go fishing on Stewart Lake.
How do they get to sell? Who sells this? Who owns that island to sell it? State?
I don't know.
That's tricky.
I don't know.
You know, they're not making any more real estate. Get an island.
Well, that is not true. If you
Don't
live in
islands
Dubai.
seem like the first thing to go? Like, if your island just submerges all of a sudden,
Yeah.
there's no insurance for that. You're like, you bought a bad piece of land there, bud. Like, look at it. It was almost swallowed up, and then you bought it, and it got finished swallowing up it.
You know, well, you know what they say though? They say it's the other way. I heard that Vancouver Island's actually growing by like a centimeter a year or something. The water levels are going down. Shouldn't they be going up? With the ice things melting?
Global warming?
We should look that
Are we
up.
talking out of class here?
But no, I heard it was.
As long as we get that wall in Mexico there.
I heard their
That's what they
islands
do.
actually
That's what they do in Dubai. They build the world islands,
Yeah,
and this is what we do in the States.
but if the islands are getting,
we're gonna
bigger-
build a giant wall between two countries that are virtually the same fucking patch of dirt.
Are they actually doing that? They're building a wall so the Mexicans can't get across.
Yeah.
If the
Which
islands are getting
has
bigger
stopped them
though,
so far.
like only by a centimeter, like you give it 10 years, now you got 10 centimeters. Is that enough to claim? Like, can you buy the outer ring of the island and then charge a fee? Like, you can't come onto this island.
I know
without
if you were in
paying?
the water, you cross my property.
Mm-hmm.
Just these little.
Yeah, yeah.
Nah, that's tough though. Is there tides in the middle of something like that?
Yeah, you buy it at low tide. So if anyone comes in at low tide,
Buddy,
they're
I
paying a
know
fee.
your kid's 3 feet in the water. Guess what? I still own it. I still own it. Get him out of there right now. It's costing you. I'm talking, and you're losing money right now.
Just start digging BC ferries. The ferries only run at high tide. Yeah, if we're coming at low tide, we got to pay a crazy fee.
This fucking guy.
He owns the low tide land. What can we do? Our hands are tied.
There's like other like little tiny islands too. You probably can't sell those. Hey, it's probably got to be a substantial island.
We can rent an island.
Because like think about how hard it would be to get all your building supplies out there.
You can rent this island for $1,000 a month.
What?
No, sorry, $1,000 a night.
Oh.
Way off.
Still, you could have huge corporate parties there.
Yeah, dude.
People would die and shit though.
People would die. A lot.
That's too crazy. You're like in the woods still, and you're drinking tons of booze.
You'd have a lot of.
You drown, yeah.
A lot of Lamar Odoms going on.
A couple wild boars in there.
It would be cool.
Stick to the path.
Where do we want to go? Tahiti? I got to get out and travel, you know? Get out to these places.
Yeah, look at all these places, hey. Even though I was just watching that football game, they're playing in the sun.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're just getting battened down for the cold of fucking winter here. Like,
yeah.
Every time. What are you doing here? What are you still doing here? Hey, guess what? It's 35 below today. What are you still doing here? That's what you get every time you wake up. Guess what? Your truck might not start. What are you still doing here? Well, you know, it's sort of home base. You got the family here. I don't want to not see all those people. I mean, what's life though? Family, citizenship. Got to get that pardon.
Oh, boy.
I can't get there. I just can't get there.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm not somewhere I can golf 365 days a year. Makes no sense to me. Well, you know, I got friends, family here. You know.
Yeah, you got to get on, get more south. I guess there's nowhere in Canada I think you can golf year round, hey?
No, but it's pretty close. It's like 8 or 9 months.
Down south? Like in Vancouver?
Yeah.
Well, Vancouver is the warmest place in Canada. Like, it's not the hottest.
When it all...
But yeah, when it all levels out through a year, Vancouver is the most mild temperature.
Because
they always say, like...
with the coast, hey?
You get more radical swings, right? Is that what it is? The further you get from... Like, the closer you are to the ocean, the more mild your temperature swings are through the year. Mm-hmm. So that's why, like, Saskatchewan can go from, like, plus 40 in the summer to minus 40 in the winter.
You could find a sick spot in the middle of, like, America.
Mm-hmm.
That's on the perfect equator line, where you're getting sick weather, like perfect Goldilocks type weather.
Like California?
Right, but that's the coast. But if you found in the middle, it'd be way cheaper to live there. And you just live in fucking Wyoming or something. It's this little town where it's like...
Don't they get snow?
Everywhere? Or like across?
I don't know.
Well, I think you just have to be close enough to the equator, right?
So you just have to be south, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, maybe those are like the shitty parts of the States, right? Like those fucking Bible Belt cunts where you don't want to be around. You're just moving closer to a school shooting is all you're doing.
States that don't get snow. Oh my God, shootings, hey?
Take my guns.
Do you think that controversy will ever end? Do you think that'll ever come to a halt? Like, I know that was one of the first things
it's like, what if you and I had... They're on teams, right? So if you and I are going to argue something where there's like... It's just me and Rossi arguing Taves and Crosby.
Yeah.
On a different level. Because you're never going to change somebody's mind.
Yeah.
No matter what you present.
Yeah.
Like if I'm on the anti-gun thing and I present to you Sandy Hook.
Yeah.
There's no way you can say, well, fucking, you know. You can't dismiss that.
There's people though that are out there that still think it's fake.
Like, but then I present you a situation where somebody comes in your home and ties up your 3 kids and your wife and you and has your way. And if you had a gun by your bed, you could be saving the 4 people you love the most. But instead, you got to watch them all be abused now because this guy's a psycho. And I present you with that, and you go, well, I think we need the guns. And then you fucking, like, they're trying to claw to some middle ground in between those two extremes.
Yeah.
There's nowhere to find it.
Well, the biggest bullshit argument, though, is the one where they do, like, the Second Amendment there with, like, the reason you need the guns is to protect yourself from the government.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we've discussed it before, where it's like, if the government's coming to take your shit, like, you're fucking pistol.
Well, they're not even going to show up. It's going to be a machine.
Yeah, like you're not going to fight the government. Yeah. You're not going to win that battle.
You can have drones and stuff. Like the stuff you have to buy to match the government. Be like, you know what? I got everything the government's got. I got an F-18 out there. I got a stealth bomber. Apache helicopter. Look at this motherfucker. I just got this. It's like you can't keep up, man. I get that you got a cool gun and you like it. And it goes boom and things die. Like, I get the fascination with it. It's super primal. The
most gangster thing I saw was that video last night where that guy gets attacked by the moose and then he just pulls out a pistol. Did you watch that yet?
Yeah, I watched it. And he throws like a right hand like the moose.
Yeah.
And then the guy's like, well, I'm sick of this shit.
Yeah.
She's like, hey. And then they like toss on the moose. Is like, oh, should I go back?
That's another one where people like, I watch that video and I can't like.
Well, I would think that guy was gonna scare it. I thought the moose would just go away.
Yeah, I did too. Like, but
so I would have crept up on it like that. I guess.
Yeah, if you watch the comments, like people just get so on one side or the other. Like I'm kind of, if I had to take a side on that, I'd take the guy's side. The moose charged him and jumped onto his snowmobile, swinging at him. Moose. Like fucking, you're not gonna die because a moose attacks on your snowmobile. So when the moose came back again, the guy shot it with a pistol. Like it seemed legit to me. That's self-defense. But then you get all those people out there and they start going nuts. They're like, you killed a moose, and they're like, oh, you called the moose in and then you killed it. He wasn't calling it in. He wasn't making like a whatever that moosey noise is that the meese make. But
yak.
He just shoots the thing.
Canadian moose.
Or like he's yelling at it. He's like, hey, like get out of here. Revs his sled up a bit, and the thing keeps coming. I would have thought it took off too. But then you get in the comments below, you can spend days just reading those comments. People just start losing it. They're like, oh, this shouldn't be moose attacks, man. This is a man attacking the moose. And then they get mad. They're like, he better go back.
This isn't a moose attack. This is a man attack. It's a goddamn human attack.
And then he goes back.
Gotta stop.
And they're like, oh, he better go back and get all that meat. He better not have killed that thing, and he better take all the meat with it. And how do you know he didn't, first of all? Maybe he did. You know, he drove past it, but he stopped afterwards. Maybe he went back and cleaned it up.
Maybe he just dropped it off at the place you're supposed to drop it off at.
Yeah.
And they do what they have to do with the meat.
But
people are super disassociated from that.
But see, that's the type of thing I can't get in the argument with. Like, I could not waste my time getting on an online thing and start commenting there and being like, look at the moose attacked him, he shot it. Like, big deal. And then you're going to get people coming back at you on team moose. And then, like, where do you think it's going to end up? It's going to go nowhere, this argument.
Yeah.
Like you said, like, you're not changing someone's
opinion. Especially when you're having a conversation with someone and you're like, there's zero productivity here.
Unless it's...
Like, I only really want to have a conversation with someone if you're working at something.
Right.
And you're, like, swapping ideas, or I want to know what you think about what I think and shit like that. But sometimes you're having a conversation with a guy and you know he's got his bullet points.
Yeah.
And this is the conversation he had at the bar last night. And this is the conversation he's going to have tomorrow when someone asks him who's unsuspecting. And he's prepared this thing and he takes it everywhere with him.
Yeah. But it's the only, like, I've learned in, like, any argument or debate you get in. I like to call them debates because I don't like to say I argue. But you get in a debate. I've very rarely, if ever, had someone, like, you present a point. And they're like, actually, you know what? You're right. Like, you swing someone. Mm-hmm. The only time I think that ever really comes into effect is if it's math. If it's math and you're just doing numbers, you can get that swing because it's like, no, like, here's how it adds up. And someone will think it means something else. Then when you present the math, they're like, okay, like, we can all agree on math.
Yeah, and super awesome that way.
That's why I like math. Like, math, 2 + 2 is always 4.
Well, that's why I think the machines, they'll just communicate through numbers. And there'll be no room for emotion. It'll just be pure logic and efficiency. Mm-hmm. Whatever the goal is, 100% workload gets put towards it. Imagine where we'd be with that. But what's life without emotion? What are we talking about here? What were you just saying? Conversations with people that are dumb? Or you don't want to have conversations with? Or you're wasting time? Come on, where were we?
No, just where, like, if you're talking about, like, a pointless thing, I guess. Like, where it's like, there's going to be no resolve out of this. Like, if you're arguing that moose thing.
Right.
Like, you can sit there and argue
with
those people.
I was going to say that I have guilty of dishonesty in that sense where I've been in a debate that I shouldn't have been in. This hasn't happened recently, but debate's a sport, and sometimes you can win a debate, even though you might have lost. Like, somebody made a good point, right. And instead of succumb to that good point that they've made, I'll use deploy some sort of device to get them frustrated or attack them, like some sort of, like,
calling him a fucking idiot or what?
Well, not quite that, but in so many ways
attack his character,
lead them in a way, make them believe they're like, like, switch the argument without them knowing,
like a woman does.
Like I had a conversation with a girl and she was a big Seahawks fan. Okay. And I was talking about how Richard Sherman's a bad teammate, good player, bad teammate, and she's like, no, you don't know anything. You don't know anything. And she had just been talking about the 49ers and how she shit all over the 49ers. And I don't know much about Richard Sherman other than what I see on TV. But she's a super fan, so I'd have to admit that she knew more than me,
Yeah.
right? Because she's like from that area. She loved him. And I was like, that guy, the first thing they did when they interviewed him after they won the Super Bowl, he started talking about himself. I'm like, that guy's a bad teammate. And she's like, no, he rescinded all that. And she made all these points. Yeah. And I didn't know any of that. And I don't know if, like, even if he did rescind it, like, I could have argued that point where it's like, nah, he's still a piece of shit because that was the impulse he had, right?
Yeah.
You know, deep down, that's what he genuinely feels. He thinks about himself before he thinks about anything. Mm-hmm. And she made all these points. But instead, I reversed it. And I said, well, you see, your argument's biased because you're a super fan. Yeah. You already sat and told me about how San Francisco 49ers, how you hate them. And you can't have an unbiased opinion about Colin Kaepernick. And you can't have you're flawed. So right away, your opinion. And I just dismissed her entire opinion at the end of it, rather than just say, well, I didn't know he fucking said that.
Yeah, it's so funny how easy it is to like not or get people. No one wants to say they don't know something.
And most people don't even realize that everything they're saying is so futile because that's what they're working towards, is changing this person's opinion. And it'll never, ever happen. Yeah. And people don't know it in the moment. And they just want to let the people who are listening walk away thinking, well, I think that guy won. Like, that's all you're doing. And if it's only the two of you having the debate, then, like, you don't have to worry about too many people seeing, like, a win or a loss, I think. So maybe it gets a little more amicable. Yeah. But, I don't know, people are weird that way. In a lot of ways.
Yeah, a lot of weirdos out there. Hang on. Spit break.
Spit break.
You do your thing, I'll do mine. Yeah, so do you think you're going to get back into comedy?
Yeah, probably.
Been a while. Been on stage?
Yeah, what about you? When was the last time you were on stage?
Yuck Yucks in Vancouver. It's hard taking those long breaks from it.
Been up like once a month in the last few months, maybe?
I'd say I did like March and April, I did quite a bit. There's a couple weeks there. I did 4 shows in a week for a bit there. And I noticed by the time you got to the end of the week, like you were really dialed in, like getting on stage and just throwing it out there. Mm-hmm. You're on point. And I think that's something you have to do. Like if you're trying to make it in comedy, I don't think you can casually do it.
Not
like
at all.
On the side, you have like it takes way more level of commitment.
Unless
than
you
I
live in
ever
a sweet
expected.
area. Like if you lived right in LA.
Yeah, but you could.
You probably get up.
But you got to get up. I think you got to be doing it at least once a week. Just get on stage, get somewhere. Even.
But
if
that like there, you wouldn't have to be like, well, if I don't get up on Tuesday night, I can't get up. Mm-hmm. There, it could be like, well, I'm not going up Tuesday. I get up Friday.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, as we're here, like we got shows maybe twice a month, sometimes more. Tim Nutt's coming to town pretty soon, I guess. So it's good. But yeah, I haven't been up for a while. Got to MC the show. It'll be my first time MCing an event. Kind of excited for that. Do a little crowd work, play to the people. Yeah. But I have no idea what I'm going to use tonight. Like I got no material prepared for tonight. That was supposed to be my job these last couple days, was get something together. Figure it out as you go, though, you know?
You think it'd be hard to write an episode of a TV show?
How long do you think by yourself? I think by yourself for sure. I think if you had a room of guys, it's really easy. Like when you get a room of, you just put a group of people together. If you're all working towards an idea and start bouncing ideas off each other, something really grows.
But I think the way you're supposed to get into it is to write a script and send it in. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But then I watched that showrunner show, and there's like a weird hierarchy of getting into a show. Like all the way from the utility guy who just goes and gets coffee, but is on the writing squad to a degree, all the way up to like the head writers and showrunner. Yeah. It's weird. And then there's all these notches in between where you're like second lead writer or third lead writer, like stuff like that.
Oh, I went in.
And all these people exist. You don't know what they look like. Like I'm pretty good with faces and celebrities, but if you're not on camera, I don't really know who you are. Like there's a few writers that are famous and directors and stuff.
That whole movie thing is weird. Like when I did my first like acting gig, I didn't get the gig, but I auditioned for the first time. Auditioning is super weird, man. Like I've got on stage lots in front of fair-sized crowds, like 150, 200 people, and gone up there. And I don't know if I'd say I've never been as nervous, but getting in front of just a panel of like 3 guys. The first audition was for a truck commercial. Someone told me about it, like shot me an email when I was down in Vancouver, like, hey, like you should go and audition for this part. Looks like you do good at it. And I was like, okay, perfect. So I get there. And first of all, actors are real weird. They're like, because they're pretending to be shit they're not all the time. So what they wanted for this gig was they wanted like a construction worker. So they asked people if they could show up in like construction outfits type of thing, or any type of trade. Like they just wanted like you to be like industrialized, I guess. And I was like, ah, fuck that, man. Like I'm just gonna show up as me and I'll do my thing. Like if they'll figure it out when they get there. So I just showed up in like jeans and like a DC hoodie or something, and ball cap on. And I get there and everyone's lined up. They've got their portfolios. They've got portfolios full of headshots and their agents and all that shit. And looks like they went to Value Village and bought like costumes. Like just went and bought like a high vis vest and like a hard hat, maybe some safety glasses. And then they're all like pacing around waiting for their name to be called to go in. And they just look desperate. Like I've never seen a bunch of people that look so desperate to get a gig ever. Obviously it's their livelihood. Like me, it didn't matter if I got the part or not, right? Like,
well, is it their livelihood though? Like those still people trying to get their foot in the door.
They were all actors with agents, and like that's what they did. They just go audition to audition, and I think that's how they get by. Once I got,
It'd be weird if that paid the bills.
Oh boy, I'll get to it in a minute. But to start, so you go in the room, and they broke into pairs of two. And you go in together and they bring one guy up. And all they put you in front of a green screen. They had a cameraman there, a bunch of lights on you like you're getting ready to film like some casting couch porn. And then they got like 3 guys sitting behind a desk. And then they're like, hey, we're just going to start the camera here. And basically we just want you to tell us about yourself and tell us about some of your life experience. They're like, okay, and go. And then they turn this camera on and you're sitting there and you're talking. But you're not getting any feedback, right? Like you're talking to them. They're not agreeing. Like you're not having a conversation. I don't like being in those situations, really formal shit. Like I can't take a lot serious. I'm not a real serious dude. Mm-hmm. So when I just have to sit there and talk, like I'm like, can I swear? Like, what am I allowed to say? The guy's like, yeah, man, like just be you, just say your thing. So like you're talking and you're expecting like you're having a conversation, but it's basically you might as well be talking to your dog. And it gets you real stressed out because you don't know if what you're saying is good or bad. They're not smiling. They're not fucking giving you anything back. And I was lucky anyway. I ended up getting a call back. I made it through the first part, and I got a call back. And at the callbacks, there were 17 of us left for the callback. So I had to go back and do a second audition. And when I got there, it was all just actors. There was no one there who didn't have an agent or wasn't a full-time actor. I was sitting in the room there waiting for my turn to go up, talking to the guys. And a couple of the guys, they were previous like tradesmen and shit. And they had quit to pursue acting. And they said they just like keep a low monthly budget or like low monthly expense, I guess. The one guy's like, yeah, like, I worked in Fort McMurray for, 3 years or something. And I got all my shit paid off. And I just rent a place here for $1,000 a month. And that's all I need. And, yeah, real weirdos. And then that time they actually asked us to act. So you got up in front of a panel. Like now you met the producers and all those people. And you had to sit in a panel in front of them. And they asked you to, what'd they get me to do? They wanted me to pretend I was pulling a 300-pound fish onto a boat. And it's super weird trying to act. Because you're like, I've never had to pretend to be doing something I wasn't doing. Unless it's like you're at work and you're pretending to be working. Or like you're drunk and trying to be sober. But like just to pretend you're pulling up a fish, there's nothing there. You're standing in an empty room. Now you're just like keeling over and just pretending you're like deadlifting this fish. You're like, ugh. And it was a super creepy thing.
Sounds creepy.
And what bothered me though is how much I was concerned about what these guys thought of me. You're like, I don't know any of these guys. Like they don't know anything about me.
But they can do something for you.
Yeah, but I'm super concerned. I guess it's no different than like a job interview. You're really concerned what their opinion of you and what they
Even
think
more
of
so.
you. Yeah,
because they can tell you suck right to your face.
Mm-hmm.
Other people aren't gonna do that. They'll just say you're not a good fit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one actor, he gave me some good advice. The one thing was like, he was telling me like, he's like, hey, well, if they get you to think, he's like, if they ask you to like pretend you're thinking is like a common thing they'll do, or like pretend you're sad, that type of shit. So it's like if they ask you to show a face like pretend you're thinking, he's like, try and think of what's in your fridge at home. So you'll be like, okay, ketchup, some mustard, 3-week-old chicken I really need to throw out. A salad I made that is now growing into a larger salad full of fungus. And it
Did they want you to look like you're thinking like...
Well, basically, it's just rather than pretend to think, like actually think, right? Is all he basically did. Or it's like if they ask you to be sad, think of something
they're
that's
asking
really
you
sad
with
that
your
happened
face
in
to
your life.
pond or something, like through your facial expressions.
Yeah, they just want to see what you look like when you're thinking.
Because when I think, I sit and I stare at something.
Just blank. That'd be hilarious. Like, all right, give us your thinking face.
Yeah.
You just like stare them right in the eyes.
Just stare right in their
do that
soul.
1,000
That's how
yard
you get a gig.
Uh,
You walk in, you just look at them until they fucking give it to you. I'll see you on Tuesday.
I got called back from that too. I made it to the final 3. I got super excited. It gave me a little insight of what it would be like to be famous. Like I don't think I'd be a good famous because shit would go to my head so quick. Because I was just thinking, say I did get that truck commercial, and now you're
balling.
You're in a truck commercial across North America. You can be sitting in the pub with your buddies having a beer, and a truck commercial comes on. You're like, hey, look, there's me, and you're going along. And I thought about.
Do you know what the pay was?
No.
They didn't tell you until you got the gig.
Yeah, and they wouldn't even tell you what the truck commercial was for, like which truck company or anything, or what they're looking for. I'm guessing it was like you just basically be on a construction site, like throw piling shit into the back of a truck or something. I need a truck that works as hard as I do, and then fire some fucking 2x4s into a truck, and then drive off in it or something. But I realized.
What about those ones where they just like interview a family, and you can tell it's like so amateur?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I was wondering if it would just be me sitting there, and they'd be like, not.
Hi, I'm Alex from British George, and I drive a truck.
And I drive a Dodge Ram. If you can't dodge it, ram it. And that may be a true statement later, actually.
And you're famous, right?
Well, that's where we go to my head so quick, because I remember one time I was filling up. Oh boy, sorry about that, folks. I was filling up my truck at the Chevron a while ago. And above the gas pump, they just had a picture of a Whitecaps player. And they're like, oh, like Striker. And they had his name and his face and that. Like, I have no idea what his name was or who he was. But if that was me and I was above a picture of me with my name above every gas station pump, every Chevron across Canada, or BC at least for the Whitecap, it would go to my head so quick that, like, you'd meet people and just be like, oh, you don't know me? No? Like, have you filled your cup? Do you burn gasoline? You can't fill up gasoline without seeing me, all right, sweetheart? You should know who I am. So I don't think I'd be a good famous guy. I don't think I'd be that asshole where, like, you lose your friends.
Does anybody recognize that guy ever, though? Can you recognize any guy you ever saw in a truck commercial?
No.
Right.
That's what they said to me. Because I asked them, I'm like, why do you go through, like, such a rigmarole to pick someone? Like, this is, like, the 3rd audition I've been at now. You're, like, shortlisting us and weeding out like to a small select. I'm like, no, the guy said to me too, he's like, don't get too nervous, because he's like, you know, your part will probably be 10-15 seconds, you know, you'll be driving the truck or whatever, and no one really remembers or recognizes the guy driving the truck. You're just kind of in and out type of thing, right? And I'm like, exactly, so why don't you just drive the truck? Like, why do you go through?
They must be trying to spend money somehow, right?
Yeah, well, that's what he said. He's like, he's like, listen, kid, this is the big leagues. We got a multi-million-dollar budget for this commercial. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, like, weird.
Like, why? How? And then he got really mad because I asked him.
I always thought that was weird. That
if people even watch commercials, right? With PBR.
Like the bus stop down the street that has a picture of Ed Sheeran on the side of it. Because our radio station plays his music.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that guy, like, he got famous through YouTube, first of all.
Yeah.
And secondly, he's never ever been here.
Yeah.
But we got a big picture of his face.
Yeah.
He'll never come here.
Yeah.
He'll never touch this part of the world, but his face is here.
Well, he's been close, right? In Vancouver.
I'm sure.
But
he's not going to trek into these hills.
No, not in a
But we got a big old picture of his face.
Yeah.
I'm going to look at this guy.
You know what? Actually, Dodge right now in town has...
Think about the fact that you can go on that computer right now, click a bunch of buttons, and you can somehow start making money.
Yeah.
If you did it the right way. There's a way to do it.
Just with YouTube?
Anything. Fucking stocks. Somehow you're just trading. You'll never have to leave there, and you can become a millionaire before you take your headphones off.
Yeah.
If somehow things went exactly according to plan.
Need some money to invest first. Take money to make money. Aaron Pritchett? Aaron Pritchett? Is that a country singer?
Yeah.
Yeah, Northland Dodge hired him. He's fucking playing right now at Northland Dodge.
All right.
In a fucking like a little lean-to tent thing.
I wonder if that's a Dodge thing though, right? Like Dodge will fucking.
Well, no, it's just their money. But I think it's hilarious that this guy like it.
Would it be Dodge or the dealership?
The dealership.
Dealership. Yeah.
Right, but like. How much money did they spend? And this guy's sitting there in a tent in the rain right now, fucking belting out his songs while people are walking around buying trucks.
They hit his quote, man. They hit his quote. What do you think his quote is? Probably 25 grand.
What a shit gig though. Like you get there, you're like really like I'm used to packing arenas full of people to play. Like I don't know how big that guy is.
They just always seem to sell vehicles every day.
But he's willing to go and sit there and just play to a parking lot full of people looking to buy a truck.
Well, he does it for the love of it. He must love music a lot.
So if you're looking for free entertainment, folks, and head down to Northland Dodge right now, it's their grand opening, and go catch some live tunes. I don't know if they're
apparently they got money throw around, so we'll promo them.
They got liquor on site.
Shoot us 2K. That's our quote.
We're at an hour. Should we cut her off now? Good.
Sure.
A good podcast to get back into it. We got an hour worth of material there. About 10 minutes worth listening to, folks.
It's in there somewhere.
Okay, well, thanks a lot for coming out, guys, and we'll be back on the air soon.
Fuck you guys. You're not listening to this.